Welcome back to our channel. Today we will bring to viewers the shocking and dramatic developments of this exciting movie Beyond the Gates. Please join us in this story revolving around Hayley. A woman who seems weak but has a terrible plot. She did not hesitate to set up a sophisticated drama that made Bill completely lose control. As the last rays of sunlight fade in the sky, the gloomy atmosphere seems to signal the storm that is about to hit Bill's life. The man who thought he had everything in his hands but did not know that it was all just a sophisticated drama. For many weeks, Bill always believed that Hayley was the one who would give him a complete family, a child that he had longed for to make up for the shortcomings of the past, the mistakes and losses that made him feel restless. He believed Hayley completely, believed in her sweet words, her emotional tears and the ultrasound results she showed him. The papers that made his heart flutter, and how many times he held Hayley in his arms, silently thanking fate for giving him the chance to be a father. However, everything collapsed in an instant when Bill discovered the naked truth behind that illusion. A file was sent anonymously to his office. Seemingly harmless papers but contained undeniable evidence of the lies that Hayley had created. At first, Bill was still skeptical. He didn't want to believe the worst, but the more he examined it, the more the details matched up to a terrifying degree. The ultrasound results that Hayley showed him were completely fabricated. The parameters were edited. The images were cleverly edited to convince him that she was carrying his blood, when in fact, it was all just a calculated scam. The feeling of betrayal tore apart Bill's mind. The anger that rose up made his body tremble. He remembered all the times Hayley had whined about her morning sickness, the fake prenatal checkups, the hugs, the consoling words full of excuses from the woman he once trusted. Each image that flashed by was like a knife cutting deep into his self-esteem and trust. Bill could not bear the humiliation of realizing that he had been turned into a laughingstock in Hayley's eyes and perhaps in the eyes of those behind this conspiracy. The madness in Bill's head seemed to be activated, his reason completely overwhelmed by anger and pain. He smashed everything in the room, the pictures hanging on the wall. The objects that were once associated with beautiful memories were all mercilessly destroyed by Bill. The sound of broken glass, the sound of collapsing furniture mixed with his heavy breathing. His eyes were red like a wild animal that was deeply wounded. Hayley's lies not only destroyed his trust but also aroused in him the obsession from the past, when he lost the chance to become a father because of his own mistakes. Now, when he thought happiness was within reach, it turned out that everything was just a dirty script that Hayley had arranged from the beginning. Bill clearly remembered every moment Hayley appeared in his life, from her sparkling eyes, sweet smile to her calculating gestures of care. Everything now became evidence that she did not truly love him. All just for the purpose of manipulating his emotions and using him for personal calculations that he probably had not yet fully seen through. In Bill's mind, there was only anger mixed with contempt for Hayley, the woman who had not hesitated to toy with his most sacred desire to be a father. Bill felt like everything around him was spinning. Every muscle in his body was tense, every blood vessel seemed to explode from the pressure. He rushed out of the house, the sound of heavy footsteps echoed in the eerily quiet space. The whole world seemed to collapse, his trust was crushed, his heart was broken, and in his mind there was only one question left: why could Hayley be so cruel? What was the real motive behind this scam? Did she just want to take his money, his reputation, or simply want to trample on his self-esteem as a sick joke? The resentment grew more and more. Bill felt like a cornered animal. He could no longer control his actions. Memories of the past flooded back, failures, betrayals, broken dreams, making him even more desperate. But this time, the betrayal came from the person he loved the most, the person he had placed all his trust and hope in, Deanna. Every step he took was like crushing the ground beneath his feet. The sound of the wind whistling past his ears could not calm the anger burning in his heart. Bill told himself he had to find Hayley, confront her, force her to tell him the whole truth, no matter how bitter it was. He couldn't let himself be stuck in this negative emotion without getting things straight. In his mind, he drew up countless scenarios for that encounter. It could be harsh questioning, it could be dangerous silence, or even an uncontrollable explosion if Hayley continued to deny. Whatever the outcome, Bill knew for sure that from this moment on, Things between him and Hayley would never be the same again. With each passing second, Bill's anger built up, like a time bomb waiting to explode. He felt disgusted with himself for being so gullible, disgusted with Hayley for her blatant lies, and disgusted with the world for letting him fall for this cruel joke. His heart was bleeding. His trust was broken, and in those eyes there was only cold hatred. Bill knew clearly that the upcoming confrontation would not only be the end of this relationship but also a wake-up call for those who dared to toy with his pride and desire to be a father. After the truth was revealed, Bill could no longer control himself. His heart felt like it was being squeezed. Each beat in his chest was pounding as if it was about to explode. The whole world around him seemed to collapse completely. He never expected that the woman he once loved, once protected, once trusted completely could create such a shameless drama. What Hayley did was not just a simple lie. It was the most serious insult to the self-esteem of a man like him. Bill walked unconsciously. His eyes were red with anger. His whole body trembled with indignation. The beautiful memories he had with Hayley were torn apart. Every time she pretended to have a stomachache. Every time she coaxed and talked about the baby in her belly. Every gentle touch. All of them were now just knives stabbing deep into his heart. He couldn't accept being made a fool of. He couldn't let himself become the victim of a despicable plot. And he couldn't forgive Hayley for daring to make fun of his most sacred desire to be a father. Bill clenched the documents in his hands. The papers containing the fake evidence were now like a verdict on Hayley. He rushed to her house. His heart was pounding like a drum. His face was tense with anger. The door opened, and Bill stormed in. His eyes were cold and frightening. Hayley stood there, her eyes wide with confusion. But before she could say anything, she was faced with the harsh truth. Each piece of evidence fell to the floor. The rustling sound echoed in the quiet space. Hayley stared at them. Her face was pale. Her breathing was rapid. Her lips trembled, unable to form words. Her lies were finally exposed. There was no way back. No excuses could cover them up. Bill didn't need to hear any more explanations. Everything was too obvious. He looked at her with hatred. All the times she had lied to him. The fake prenatal checkups. The times she had used tired excuses to avoid detection. Every detail was like a perfect piece of the puzzle Hayley had worked so hard to build. Contempt welled up in Bill's heart. He felt disgusted not only with Hayley but also with himself. He blamed himself for being so gullible. So trusting. To be played like a fool by her. His trust was now shattered. Love no longer existed. Bill slammed his fist on the table. The photo frames fell to the ground and shattered. The sound of broken glass rang out sharply. The space became chaotic. Anger exploded like a fire that burned away reason. Hayley backed away. Her eyes were panicked. Her whole body was trembling. But that fear was no longer enough to shake Bill's heart. He stepped closer. Murderous intent radiated from his cold eyes. Each heavy step seemed to trample on the lies that Hayley had built. He threw the pieces of evidence down in front of her. Each piece of paper was a mental punishment. A reminder of the blatant betrayal she had caused. Hayley lowered her head. She did not dare to look straight at him. Shame and fear were evident on her face. But Bill did not care. For him now, forgiveness no longer existed. Only hatred and resentment that had been suppressed for too long remained. Bill remembered the nights he had been awake because of happiness. The times he imagined the child would call him father. Those illusions were now ashes. Mercilessly crushed by Hayley's dirty tricks. He grunted. His hands clenched into fists. His mind was confused but determined. He would not let her continue to get away with everything she had done. He would make her face the consequences. Pay for her betrayal. Bill turned and walked away. Leaving Hayley standing there, trembling in fear and guilt. But he knew. This was not the end. This was only the beginning of the revenge he was about to carry out. He would make her feel 100 times more humiliated. He would show the world her true face. Bill's footsteps echoed through the hallway. Each step was a silent declaration of war. A sign that he was no longer innocent. No longer an easy prey. From now on, he would be the hunter. The one who took the initiative. And Hayley would definitely pay the price. Don't forget. What happens next in Beyond the Gates is even more shocking. Hayley's unmasking is just the beginning of a series of tragic and tearful revenge. Stay tuned and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the shocking episodes that are about to unfold.